If you're playing Fallout 76, you've probably seen some things and you're like, how does somebody do that? What did they do to get this done? Well, this video aims to actually go over some of those weird things that you've seen done by other players that you may not know how to do, including what to do if the legendary script machine actually eats your favorite weapon. So that way you don't have to panic. If you're interested in learning some weird Fallout 76 tips for beginners or ones I wish I knew sooner because I like to know weird things, I invite you to sit back, relax, and join me for 13 tips I wish I knew sooner as a beginner. Now, like I was saying, most of these tips will be ones that you've probably not heard, but they are very useful tips. I've only counted 13 of them, but there are way more than 13 tips in this video, so stick around and you might learn a bunch of stuff you didn't know. Tip number 1 is going to be how to easily find items that you're missing, such as in this case, I am trying to make berry mentats and I'm missing starlight berries. You could come into any of your weapons workbenches or at your chemistry workbench like I'm showing here, and if you're missing an item that you're trying to make, you can tag that item for search just by pushing in your right stick, which is the same for PlayStation and Xbox. You'll have to check it out on your PC to figure that out if you're not using a controller. Sorry about that. But if you need starlight berries, you can easily tag it. So anytime you run across a bush that's starlight berries, that little magnifying glass will pop up. So even if you didn't know what the bush looked like, you will automatically see that little magnifying glass as soon as you run over top of it. So it can kind of help bring your eye in faster, so that way you will actually see, hey, I might need that item. It does the same thing if you're trying to craft something. The best part of this is, like I said, when you're using it at the build menu, or if you're trying to make like a weapon and you're low on springs or screws or what have you, you can tag from right there that you need that item. And what it will do is anytime you run across an item that can be broken down and will have those components, it will have the magnifying glass beside it, meaning that you need to pick it up and break it down so that way you can get those missing items that you're looking for. The best part of this tag for search feature, in my opinion, is that you don't have to wait till you run out of said junk to actually start looking for it. So that way you don't have to be behind. You don't have to go over here, wait till you're trying to make a fixer, and then be like, oh, I just ran out of springs, and now you have to go out looking for things that have springs, and you couldn't tag it beforehand. You can tag any item as long as you have one piece of that junk that you can actually pick up and hold. So the best way to do this is to go under your Pipboy. Like I said, if you're at a workstation and you notice that you're out of something, you can actually tag it from search from there. But if not, this is the next fastest way. So go into your Pipboy, go under junk. If you look at the bottom, you'll notice that it says component view, and you'll want to push that. On Xbox, it is right bumper. It's probably the same for PlayStation, but either way, follow your prompts. And the same thing for computer, it will tell you the prompts which button to actually push. Now, as you can see, there's a limited amount of junk that's actually in here that I can tag for search, but you can easily tag and untag things by looking at the bottom of the screen again on your Pipboy and seeing where it says tag for search. On Xbox, it is the A button, so you just will click it on and off as you need to find items or don't need to find items. Now, if you go in here and you notice that you don't have the particular item, like I need to find springs, so let's go over here and we'll get one spring. This is where it comes in handy that you need to have just one of them. So you pick it up, you go back in, you go to component view, and guess what's going to be here? Spring. So now I can tag it, and every single piece of junk that has a spring in it will show up with a magnifying glass beside it. Now, if you have multiple pieces of junk that you're looking for, like if I go through here and pick all these out, any item I come across that has one of these components, it will show that magnifying glass. Now, it won't tell you which component it has in it, but you will get that magnifying glass to tell you, hey, you might want to pick this up. Now, the best part about this is if you have a daily or weekly where you have no idea which items actually need to be broken down to get a certain component. So a lot of people don't know where fiberglass is at. So you just, as long as you have one piece of fiberglass, you can go in and tag that item right from here and look for it. So now you can go around the wasteland. I would just take all these off, obviously, if you have a daily or weekly. So that way there's nothing that needs to be searched for except for the one thing that you need to break down. So every single time you come across a piece of junk that has a piece of fiberglass in it, it's going to notify you, so then that way you can get that daily or weekly done. pretty fast. The next thing that we're going to learn about is the favorites wheel and how to use it. Now on Xbox or PlayStation, you can just use the D-pad and push up to get to it. You will have to follow your prompts on PC to figure this part out, but you can easily find it under settings. Anyway, you can go in and just select anything that you have favorited here, so that way you can use it super fast. And for tip number 3, I'll go ahead and show you this as I continue to show you how to do this. But if you have your weapon of choice that is equipped most of the time and you put it under favorites, you can quickly switch to this weapon even if you're not holding it. And you can also repair it from here as well. So as long as you have a repair kit now. So if you have a repair kit, you can use it right from here and not have to really go into your whole Pipboy and go through a bunch of weapons. If you're carrying a bunch, you can just do it right from here and make it super quick. But how do you actually get items favorited? You have to be holding the item number 1, and what you would do is just go down under the item that you're looking for. Like maybe I want to add this gun, so all you have to do is look at the bottom of your screen and it says right bumper for favorite. So I will just push right bumper and that will put a heart up beside it. Now if I no longer need to have that there, you just push the right bumper again to get rid of it. But if I favorite it now, I go into my favorites wheel and you can see it is right there ready for me to use, and if I need to repair it I can. It's great to have all your different things that you use pretty fast or pretty frequently. Like I'm always using whiskey and I'm always using carry weight boosters, so I have all that stuff favorited. You can favorite up your lunch boxes, so that way you don't have to go into your Pip-Boy and look for these items every single time you have to use them. I want to take a moment to thank all my viewers for actually pointing out to me that I can actually repair items from the favorites wheel, because I had no idea that I could do that, and I just learned that within the last like 6 months. So I figured I would pass it along to you because I just never noticed it. And one of my big things is always read the bottom, and I always failed to do so. But I never really favorite weapons or armor or anything under my favorites wheel. It's probably why I missed it. Let's get back into talking about your Pip-Boy. So this one is kind of neat because there's 2 different views that you can actually activate, and you might have done it already by accident and you don't know how to get back to it, or maybe you just didn't even know that it was there, or you've seen somebody else use it and you have no idea how to make it happen. When you go into your Pip-Boy, this is what it normally looks like, but some people cannot stand the way that this looks and they just want something different. So what you have to do is look down at the bottom of the screen yet again, and you'll see something that says view. I have the 2 little boxes. That's normally the select button for Xbox. And what happens is when you push it, it goes into this thing so that way you can actually look at it and still see what's going on outside. Lots of players prefer this over the other. So if you're one of those people, hopefully you'll now be able to use it. And since we're actually talking about this, you probably noticed that my Pip-Boy colors are 2 different colors when I use it. Well, that is by design. So let me teach you how to actually do that. So what you'll need to do is go under settings and go under display, and what you'll have to do is whatever color you'd like it to be. This is the Pip-Boy color, okay, and this is the quickboy color. The quickboy is that second version that I showed you. Obviously it shows that it's purple, but this is your red, your green, and your blue. Same here. So what you would do is if I want to make this red, I would turn the red all the way up, I would turn the green all the way down, and probably turn down the blue a little bit. Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit because that looks like a better red, in my opinion. You may have a different opinion. But anyway, that's how you would make it red. And you do the same thing over here. So hopefully this has been informative and it'll help you make your game experience a little better. Now while we're under the main menu here inside the game, I'm going to go ahead and go over something that I feel like I go over in a ton of my videos. I even have a shorts video where I highlight on this. But this is a very important tip and I don't want anybody missing out on that. And that is to join a team. So if you look in the top right hand corner of your menu, you will see social. Just follow the prompts for that. Mine is right bumper, and then you can go in and look at the teams. To create a new team, I'll have to leave this one first, but to create a new team you just go in and look, or you can join a team that's already in play. And you can actually have up to 4 members on any team. Now, if you're not sure which team to join, it is kind of specific. So the best one that you should probably join is going to be casual, and there's a lot of reasons why. But if you pick daily ops or expeditions, the people on that team are going to expect you to go to either expeditions or daily ops. events is nice, but the thing is you don't get as much XP from some of these events as you would from just doing the casual intelligence with having 4 people on your team. Now, like I said, the casual team is actually going to increase your intelligence by every single team member that you have. Now, you have to be linked to those team members, and you'll see that at the bottom right next to your teammate's name, and that will highlight as it goes across. And then once it's actually linked, you'll start earning that extra intelligence, so that way you can level up faster. But the best thing to do, if you ever get to the point where you can do this and you're the team leader, is to go to an event and wait till it's almost at the end and then switch it over to events, so that way you get double the XP, because you get double the benefits just from completing it. But if you're actually doing an event like Radiation Rumble, it's going to be better that you have that intelligence boost from the casual team instead of just having the events team. But events teams do expect you to go to a lot of events, so just keep that in mind. Now, if you join a casual team with that extra intelligence experience buff that you'll be getting there for every team member, you could also go in here and use, where are you? Inspirational. You'll want to use inspirational because you're on a team. If you get 3 stars, if you only have 1 star, this is still a good one to do. This is under charisma. It says when you are on a team with other players, gain 15% more XP. So at 1 star, it's still 5%. So definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of that. The other reason why you'll want to join a team is if you're going to events and such, sometimes when you're lower level, you don't have enough time to actually tag or hit enemies or try to shoot enemies to get that extra XP. Because if you get enough shots on an enemy, even though you don't kill them, you still get the full amount of XP. But if that is happening too fast, if you're on a team and your teammates are at the exact same event, you'll get half the experience just from being on the team with them, even though you didn't tag the enemy. So extra experience is always good, so make sure that you're joining a team. And the last reason that you should join a team is because if you have other players on your team and that teammate happens to complete a quest, whether it's a daily quest or an actual storyboard quest, anytime they earn caps, you earn some caps too. So that's free caps, free experience, free caps. It sounds like a win-win to me. Number 7 is definitely a weird one, but it is a very important one. It can kind of be convoluted and just crazy sounding, but it has to do with how you earn your perk cards. Now, as you level up, you get more and more access to more perk cards. So if you're at level 1, you only have a couple perk cards to actually choose from. As you level up, like I said, you unlock more and more perk cards. Well, this is where it starts to get kind of tricky. So let's say you are at level 45 and you know that you want this adrenaline card that doesn't unlock till level 50. Now this doesn't unlock at level 50, but this is just an example, so please don't correct me in the comments just for using this card at level 50. Anyhow, let's say you know that you want this card, you're level 45, and this thing unlocks at level 50, so you're like, well, I could save all 5 points and not pick a perk card in between level 45 and 50, so that way I can max out this card as soon as I get there, because this is a 5-star card. Well, that would be logical thinking for most people, including myself, but that's not the way the game works. You cannot unlock perk cards in that class. So like if you unlock 3 perk cards at level 25, you need to spend 25 perk cards. You need to choose 25 different perk cards between 1 and 25 in order to unlock that 25. And it just basically keeps going. So you'll never get to adrenaline if you don't choose 5 cards, because this is, in this example, a level 50 card. Hopefully that makes sense. It doesn't, but it does. I definitely don't like it, but it is one of these things that you should definitely know before you start, wasting your time or trying to hold back on something or thinking that something's broke. Now, number 8 has to deal with your backpack. I do this one a lot, but this one really helps your carry weight, and a lot of people just don't quite get this one either, and you need to be aware of this. Everybody needs to be aware of this. So there are 2 different types of book bags. There's small and standard. When you come out of the vault, you come out with a book backpack that is leveled up to your level when you exit. So let's go in here and look at this real quick. So with small backpacks, you can choose between level 1 and level 50. So if you come out of the vault at level 2, you'll have a level 1 backpack, meaning that you can carry 5 pounds more weight. 5 pounds is 5 pounds, guys. I'll take it. Now, if you're a level 20, you actually get a leveled up book bag that will be level 20, and you can carry 15 extra pounds of carry weight. So that's the difference. 5 pounds, 15 pounds. But you don't automatically come out of the vault with this plan, so that way you can level up your book bag. So two things to take away from this is that one, you need to level up your backpack every 10 levels until you get to level 50, because at level 50 with the small book bag you get to carry an extra 30 pounds of carry weight, and that is fantastic. With the standard, just in case you want to know, you get 60, so it doubles. Getting this backpack is a lot harder, I should say. Some people think it's pretty easy. Most of us do not like doing it. So that's a story for another day. But the small backpack, you need to go find the plan, so that way every 10 levels you can level up your book bags. That way you can carry a little bit more weight or a little bit more items or guns or what have you around. So let me show you real quick where you can actually get this plan, so that way you can level up your backpacks. Alright, number 9. Now this is a tip that I've not given out yet. This is a fairly new item that we've had. I think we may have had it for a year now. And it's called the Scouts Banner. It is an aid item. You can buy extra from, I do believe you can buy it from one of the gold bullion vendors, and you can also of course buy it in the Atom shop for real world money or atoms. And anyway, the Scouts banners here, they do a couple different really good things, but the one main thing I want you to take away from this is one, if you use this or anybody in your server uses a Scouts banner, every player in that server benefits from it. Every player. So that means that if somebody opens up 5 Scouts banners and you're in the same server as them, it doesn't matter where you're at. You could be in the gold vault for all they care. You will be getting that Scouts banner, which is fantastic news, because why not get something for free? Now, the first one, this is the second takeaway. The first one that you actually put down, or anybody puts down on the server, now they are timed. They don't last for forever. They're just like lunch boxes. But the first one that you actually use will give you the ability basically to not die. So not die may not be the right words. Whenever you get down, that's the point where somebody can come over and stim you. If you get in a situation where you get downed instead of killed, you will be able to pop right back up and continue to fight, which is fantastic. So basically you don't have to rely on somebody else. So if you're ever in a situation where you're kind of in a sticky spot, where like you have reflective skin as one of your mutations in daily ops or even in a mutated event, this is your best friend. Tip number 10 has to do with an easy way to earn caps, and that is by putting up a cap vendor. Now you put up a camp vendor, and that means other players can actually come to your camp and buy things from you. Some of the best selling items that you can actually do is ammo and plans and mods and such. Now any ammo you sell, you should definitely sell it for 1 cap, unless it's like a fusion core or something along those lines, because that is the going rate for them. Now if you'd like to learn more tips and tricks or how to actually use the vending machine, definitely make sure that you click on this wonderful video that is in the top right hand corner right now, or look for it in the description below after the video is completed. So that way, you can get an upper hand on how to actually make more caps quicker, because there's some really good tips in that video. Number 11 has to do with legendary items. Now, your armor and your weapons can drop as legendary items. You can get power armor that is legendary as well. And anyhow, the big thing that I want you to be aware of is that just because you're a certain level doesn't always mean that whatever you see is your level. So if you're a level 20 and you come to my camp and you're trying to buy this, you can't buy this. But if you're trying to buy this, you'd be able to buy it, but you wouldn't be able to use it until you got to level 50. And so that's kind of a waste of caps unless you find something you absolutely know that you want for level 50. Now this weapon right here is also a level 45. This is max rank. So if you're at level 25, you're not going to be able to use this weapon until you get to level 45. Now this goes the same way once you get to be a higher level. Just because, and I'm saying this because there's going to be a lot of low levels with a lot of weapons and a lot of armor in their vendors now, and it's not going to be the right level. So make sure you're paying attention to whatever you're buying that's legendary. If you're buying an item out of a vending machine at the train station, one of the NPC vendors, or if you're buying it out of another player vendor, make sure you're inspecting it and paying attention to what the level actually is. So that way you don't make a mistake that you'll regret. Because if you spend 30,000 caps on a weapon that you think is one of the best weapons and it's a level 10, you're going to be pretty mad at yourself unless you're thinking about starting a new character, more than likely. Tip number 12 will be going over 2 of the locations on the map that I think that you should learn first, because they are super helpful, especially if you're just starting out or you're lacking some of the plans that you need to make workbenches or stuff like that at your house. And on top of that, these 2 locations are both free fast travel locations, and there's 7 total free fast travel locations available, so you may want to go looking for those too. I have a video that will show you them. But anyway, Nuka World on Tour is the first one. It is down here in the ash heap. Here is Vault 76, just for a reference. So you go all the way down here. There is several events that actually pop up down here, so if you go to one of those events, you can actually learn this location by just doing that, so you don't have to walk all over the place. But the reason why you want to come down here is that they have a cooking station. They have 2 vendors. There's Miss Betty. Half the time she's a nudist. So if you come down here and notice that she's not wearing any clothes, don't be bashful, because she certainly is not. The next person you're going to be looking for is Chloe. She is another vendor right there. There is also a vendor down here that sells Nuka Colas, because why not? This is Nuka World on Tour after all. But you can come in here and buy any Nuka Cola that you can think of except for cranberry. And let's go ahead and show you the reason why you should also be coming down here. So first off, there is a loadout machine, so that way you can change your loadout. So if you have an extra class that you're using to actually make things, you can switch those out quickly. There is a stash box. There is a power armor station. There is an ammo box. There is a scrap box. And then there's every other workbench here for your pleasure as well. So you can actually break down things, scrap it, do all that stuff here, then go sell items if you need to. And there's even a legendary script machine. And if you're not sure what that is, definitely check out some of these other tip videos. So that way you can go over that, because it's slightly more complicated than what I have time to do right now. Number 2, the second location that's a free fast travel location that you definitely must find, is the White Springs North entrance. Now it has 2 different entrances, but the north entrance, in my opinion, is the fastest way to get into the actual mall. And we'll go up there real quick so that way you can actually see why you should be coming to this location. Now, if you do have it, make sure you choose the inside. Now, once you actually load into the White Springs, I do want you to go ahead and just take a look around. There's tons of robots, but there's also tons of flipping vendors. There's vendors everywhere. There's 2 actually inside of here. Anyway, the place that you're actually looking for, let's go back to where you start at. So you load in right about here. You just want to come down, and it's going to be this second location right here. It says Artisan's Corner. And look at all the workbenches that are in here. You also have a stash box, more workbenches, armor stations. You have a scrap box. You even have a brewing station if you need to make an alcoholic beverage. And then there's cooking stoves, tinker's workbenches, armor workbenches, and then you also have a ammo box. They even have medical supply vending machines. I don't suggest that you use these in the ammo vending machine, but if you're desperate, you could definitely do that. But the cream of the crop here on this is not only the fact that it has a ton of different vendors that sell exclusive plans. A lot of them are camp items, which you definitely should be checking out. You have the legendary script machine, and you have a gold bullion machine. Now, tip number 13, which I think is super important, and loads of people actually don't know this, has to do with the legendary script machine. Like I said, if you don't quite understand this, make sure that you look at the video, because it, like I said, is a lot to all the currencies in this game. But anyway, this is a trick that every player must know, and I mean every player should know this. So let's say you have a ton of things and you're just selling stuff. Well, anyway, you accidentally sell one of your favorite items. So like I just sold that weapon right there. Now this is a god roll short vampire flamer, so it's got faster fire rate and 15 faster reload. Anyway, I'm like, oh crap, I just sold my weapon. As long as you don't leave, you will not lose it. You can buy it right back. Hopefully hopefully you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something new or something that you've always wanted to know. Make sure to give me a big Vault Boy thumbs up and consider nuking that subscribe button on the way out. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the wasteland. Huge shout out to all my channel members, the Deathclaws. You guys are awesome, and thank you so much for having my back. Love ya.